TPC Craig Ranch in McKinney, where the future of the AT&T Byron Nelson will come into focus. The Salesmanship Club and the PGA Tour striking a 5-year deal with course operator Club Corp, and the city of McKinney and its business community providing just the right atmosphere for a new home.
The open arms, the welcome, the whole attitude of this isn't a business transaction for us, this is a partnership for us.
TPC Craig Ranch opened in 2004, and the idea has always been to eventually host a PGA Tour event. The golf course itself has always been appealing, and now as far as the surrounding area, there's more. Collin County's remarkable growth, especially in the area in and around the intersection of State Highway 121 and the Dallas North Tollway, which is only about 10 minutes from the course, the final piece of the puzzle. So what makes Collin County and the area in and around the golf course, McKinney in particular, what makes those areas ready now?
Well, I think the infrastructure, the business infrastructure is now there, and there's so much energy there now. You can't go up there without picking up that energetic vibe.
The move on the heels of a brief stint at Trinity Forest Golf Club in Dallas, just 2 years. Sagging revenues and infrastructure issues spurred the tour to call for a new venue, which for the first time won't be in Dallas County.
But we look at it more like we've just expanded our footprint and our family.
Dates haven't been confirmed yet, but the tournament expected to remain in its traditional spot on the calendar in May. And speaking of tradition,
when people want the Nelson party to come back, we couldn't have picked a better location.
And for so many reasons, we can't wait. In McKinney, I'm Joe Trahan.